cloudy. And right now, let's send it down to, I'm sure, a bit warmer, Christina Pink. Christina.
Thank you, Dick. Well, two teams, just one Pro Bowler. Bears right guard Kyle Long, the only Pro Bowl selection who will be on the field today. You know, he's the 10th player in Bears history to be named to the Pro Bowl in each of his first two seasons, and he's the first offensive lineman to ever do it. I talked to him before the game, and he said, you know, last season, it was like clockwork. We had the same 5 guys up front. This season, a lot more challenging because of all those moving pieces on that offensive line. He also talked to me about, you know, some of that talk about him moving to the outside at tackle. He said, you know what, I am at home. I like where I'm at, and I'm in a phone booth at guard. Back up to you, Dick and Brady.
Yeah, you know, Kyle Long's been one of the bright spots on this Bears offensive line. He's so versatile, can play inside and outside. That's a key part in a line that's changed a ton this season.
Vikings won the toss and they defer, so the Bears will get the ball first. And Mark Mariani will take a knee, and the Bears will start from the 20-yard line. And there is Jay Cutler, who has had great success against the Vikings. 8-2 lifetime record, including a victory over Minnesota back on November 16th, throwing for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. So benched last week, and here's Cutler for the finale.
Yeah, and he really had success in their first matchup this season. They were able to adjust to a lot of the pressures and blitzes head coach Mike Zimmer likes to bring on the defensive side of the football.
First play from scrimmage, and here is Matt Forte with a good gain on first down and getting about 7 or 8 yards. So Matt Forte, and what a year he has had in scrimmage yards as a receiver and a rusher. And Alshon Jeffrey, he's the go-to guy at wide receiver now.
He's going to have to be with the absence of Brandon Marshall. He had a big game again the last time they played the Vikings. They're going to need him to come up big today. And we talked about him, Kyle Long, the only Pro Bowl player on the field today. He's been extremely versatile on this offensive line for the Bears.
There is Jeffrey, 2nd down and 2. And they go back to Forte, and he's going to be stopped for no gain. And Adi Cole, who is starting his first game of the year in place of the injured Chad Greenway at weak side linebacker. There you see the front 4 defensive line for the Vikings vastly improved over a year ago.
Yeah, you talked about Sharif Floyd, one of the defensive tackles, has really stepped up and been one of the cornerstones on this Vikings defense, and Harrison Smith as well. Some of these young guys are really coming of age.
Andrew Zendejo starting at strong safety for Robert Blanton. And Gerald Hodges makes the start for the 4th straight time for Anthony Barr, the impressive rookie linebacker. So now 3rd down and 1, and the Bears are going to call the timeout. 3rd down and 1. And timeouts not that impactful in the first half, and Cutler going to the sideline. So try to figure out what the deal is with Aaron Cromer and company, and Mark Trestman will be back.
This game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com.
Well, the Bears calling a timeout prior to their 3rd down and 1 play. Jay Cutler didn't look that happy coming off the field. Maybe he got the play a little late. 3rd down and 1, the pitch going to Forte, and Forte moving forward has the first down. So Forte getting the attention early. Everson Griffin making the tackle, a gain of 3.
And he will be the key to this Bears offense today. With Jimmy Clausen playing quarterback last week, they really wanted to try to set the tone and run the football early. They're going to try to do the same thing here today with Jay Cutler. And they'll use all types of different styles of runs, in particular misdirection runs, because the linebackers for the Minnesota Vikings are so fast flow and run to the football so well, they got to get them to hesitate.
First down on the 32. In motion is Wilson, and the handoff is to Forte going off the left side, and Forte close to the first down. Adi Cole, the weak side backer, is there, and now with that rush, Matt Forte is over 1,000 yards for the 5th time in his career and the 3rd consecutive time. So Forte with a lot of goals today personally for him.
Yeah, he's been such a productive player over the course of his career. He can do it all.
And we have two flags down in the backfield, and it'll be a false start call against the Bears, 5-yard penalty. The Chicago Bears offensive line, they've used 9 starting combinations. Every starter has missed at least one game. So when you talk about fumbles by the quarterback and having to rush and throw interceptions, that's a big part. Playoff teams don't have that many changes.
No, they don't. They have much more consistency, and you don't have pre-snap penalties like the Bears have had a big part of this season.
So now 2nd and 6. And another penalty, delay a game.
Offense.
What a start for the
Still
Chicago Bears
down.
and Mark Trestman. They have to call a timeout on 3rd and 1 in their first series. And then they have a false start penalty followed by a delay of the game. Is this their season in microcosm here?
It seems to be their season in a nutshell. I mean, struggling with pre-snap penalties, something that you should be more disciplined with. They didn't struggle with last year. They have this year, and so far, again, not the start you'd want to see from the Bears offense.
2nd down and 11, and Cutler, and he flips it off to Matt Forte, and Audie Cole is there. This is this improved Viking defense with Mike Zimmer, the former defensive coordinator of the Bengals, a loss of 1.
Well, the Bears like to utilize Matt Forte in the screen game, and Mike Zimmer talked to us about it coming into this week's matchup. They try to get their defensive linemen to recognize it sooner, and for their linebackers, they tried to play a little more man coverage so they could make sure they were right there to make the play on Matt Forte once he left the backfield.
Cole in his 3rd year from North Carolina State, so now the Bears face a 3rd down and 12. Back to their 29. Cutler has time, and on the shallow cross completes the pass, but well short of the first down. Matt Forte on the receiving end. And so here are the Bears. They had a 2nd down and 1, 2 penalties and a loss, and now they have to kick it away.
And they're going to have to find a way to get into a better rhythm. They can't keep allowing these penalties to stop them. That's been a problem for them all year long, and that's why their offense hasn't been as productive as they were capable of or they were back in 2013.
Marcus Sherrills, who is 7th in the league in punt returns. Patrick O'Donnell, the rookie from Miami, with the kick. The fair catch by Sherrills at the 20. So the Chicago Bears, after getting a first down, went backwards, and now we'll see the Vikings on offense for the first time today.
This game is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly.
And here is the rookie Teddy Bridgewater, their first pick out of Louisville, and he has come on in the last several weeks. The Vikings beginning from the 20-yard line, and we'll have a flag and a false start call this time against Minnesota.
False start. Number 85 in the offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's the tight end, Rhett Ellison.
And he's seen his playing time increase with the injury to Kyle Rudolph. He's been battling throughout the season. So obviously, a little more inexperienced guy, but he's done a nice job in replace of Rudolph.
Norv Turner is the offensive coordinator for the Vikings. One of the best at calling plays. Here is Matt Asiata, and Asiata is stopped in his tracks by Jay Ratliff. No gain on the play. So we're looking at Bridgewater, and that's what he's done in the last 4 games. Pretty impressive. And
it's what you'd like to see out of your quarterback at the end of the season, him playing his best football. And Teddy Bridgewater talked to us saying he feels more and more comfortable in this Norv Turner system in the offense with his wide receivers.
2nd down and 15. And here's Bridgewater getting some time, and his pass is caught. It'll be a first down to Charles Johnson, and a flag down. The former Cleveland Brown picks up 14 yards pending the call, and it may be against Chicago.
Offside. 91 in the defense. Line up in the neutral zone. That penalty decline.
So David Bass, who is starting today for Willie Young, who is out with a torn Achilles tendon, suffered last week in the Bears' loss.
And they're going to need a big game out of him in Willie Young's absence, because Jared Allen gets double teamed and gets a lot of the attention.
And here is Asiata. Asiata has a hole off the right side, has a first down and gets into Bear territory. And a good block by the tight end Kyle Rudolph, springing Asiata for a gain of 19.
Well, they're going to continue to run at number 91, David Bass. He's right here on your screen playing in replace of really young Torres Achilles, and they've got to do a better job of setting edge. Shea McClone as well. They've got to do a better job of building a wall, not allowing Asiata to get outside.
And a first down on the 47 of the Bears. And this throw incomplete. It was intended for Johnson, and there's a flag down. Coverage by Kyle Fuller, the first-round pick out of Virginia Tech, and it appears to be against Minnesota.
Offense, number 12. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
So Charles Johnson has become the favorite target for Teddy Bridgewater, called for an offensive pass interference.
Yeah, and this has been one of the emphases for the officials, is offensive pass interference. As you can see, Charles Johnson gives him a little shove at the top, and they've been extra, particular on that penalty so far this year.
So each team has been hit by 2 penalties in the start of this game, and it'll be first down and 20 back in Viking territory on their 43. And here is Asiata straight up the middle, and that's his running style. Stopped by Jared Allen coming back to Minnesota. Let's take a look now at the Vikings offensive team. Asiata has had to really handle the running back duties with, of course, Adrian Peterson unable to play, and, of course, Jerick McKinnon, the other running back, out.
Yeah, and you look at their offensive line, John Sullivan, their center, he's really been the cornerstone, the foundation for this Minnesota offensive line. He's been there for 7 years now and really has the smarts, intelligence, makes all the calls, does a nice job.
Where did he go to school?
Oh, Notre Dame.
Second down and 16. Here is Bridgewater taking off, and he is going to be getting away. He shook off a potential tackler and is close to the first down inside the 40-yard line of the Bears. Jay Ratliff missed the tackle, and instead Bridgewater ends up with a 15-yard pickup.
And these are the intangibles you just can't teach a quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater, coming into this year, had the ability and the escapability to get outside the pocket, but what everyone's loved about him is he doesn't ever force it. Once he sees that opening, if he doesn't find anyone downfield, then he takes it. But he's not looking to run initially. He is a pocket passer, and he's done a nice job, again, of maturing in this system.
Third down and 1. In motion is Rudolph. To the other side of the line, the first back through is Jerome Felton, and he will have a first down to the Bears 35. And for a game break, let's go out to L.A. and Kurt Menefee.
All right, the Houston Texans need help to make the AFC playoffs. First thing they've got to do, though, is beat Jacksonville. They're off to a good start. First possession, Arian Foster, 10-yard touchdown reception. They're up 7-0. Jake and Brady.
All right, Kurt, and of course we all anticipate America's Game of the Week coming up later on Fox. The showdown between the Lions and the Packers for the NFC North title. And the winner of this game will end up in 3rd place. Not really a great consolation in this division race. And a first down play action for Bridgewater. And Bridgewater is going deep into the end zone. And caught by Greg Jennings. What a catch for the touchdown. Fuller was all over him, and I don't know how Greg Jennings made that incredible circus catch for the Minnesota touchdown.
Well, I'll be interested to see if he was able to hang on to this. Greg Jennings made an incredible adjustment to the football, and as he's coming down to the ground, it appears the football hits the ground before he's able to get his hands underneath.
For the Vikings, may be too good to be true, right?
Well, it's going to come back, but
review all scoring plays, of course, and turnovers as well. And
this is the quarterback of the future. I mean, you see his ability to be able to make those big throws downfield. We'll see what they make a call when we come back.
This game on Fox is sponsored by Pizza Hut. We're taking pizza where it's never been before. By Ford. Beautiful things happen when you go further. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Referee Jeff Triplett, the ruling on the field, that was a Viking touchdown, but here's Triplett.
After review, the ruling on the field is reversed. The pass hit the ground before the receiver gained possession. It is an incomplete pass. It'll be second down.
That was very clear on the replay that he did not have control, Jennings.
It's a tough adjustment for any wide receiver. He was looking over his right shoulder, then spun back around to try to catch the ball over his left. Just couldn't get his hands underneath it. But a nice ball by Teddy Bridgewater.
8th play of the drive. It'll be 2nd down and 10 on the Bears 35. And the ball is almost intercepted by Jared Allen. Look at the look on his face. He could have danced perhaps all the way. He would have turned on the Jets, but what a play.
He almost brought that ball in with one hand. That's the athleticism of Jared Allen, and he's incredibly tough to go against because he can adjust so well to the quick screens to the outside.
First game back after 6 years, and he says it's not quite the same being in the Metrodome and being outdoors, but this is his return against the team that he starred in for so many years. 10 or more sacks in every campaign. 3rd down and 10 now for Bridgewater. Here comes the pressure on Bridgewater, and this pass, and it's Jarius Wright, and it's ruled a catch, and it should be a first down.
We talked about Teddy Bridgewater's completion percentage in this second half of the month of December, but where he's been extremely effective is on 3rd down. He's got one of the highest completion percentage in the NFL on 3rd down in particular. Something that's incredible for a rookie, and you see why right there. Be able to throw balls and anticipate throws with pressure right in his face.
So an 11-yard pickup for Bridgewater, and a first down. Here is Asiata off the left side, and he's not going to get much, and is thrown back. Jared Allen making the play, and so the Bears with, again, Jared Allen coming back to Minneapolis, where he starred for so many years. That is the front four, and of course Brady talked about David Bass. They're the linebackers for the Bears, and this is a Chicago team that has allowed the most points in the league. Brock Vereen starting for Chris Conte at the safety position.
A lot of youth for the Bears defense. They have 5 or 6 rookies out there sometimes on any given play.
2nd and 13, and that pass to Asiata is simply dropped.
And he's got better hands than that. Matt Asiata does a nice job catching balls on the outside when he's in a wide receiver position and really out of the backfield. So surprising he dropped that football.
And he goes to the sidelines, replaced by Joe Banyard, number 23, who had the best run for the Vikings in last week's loss to the Miami Dolphins. They had the game in their hip pocket, and their defense just collapsed at the end. Banyard had a 16-yard gain. So at 3rd down and 13 for Teddy Bridgewater. Bridgewater's pass, and it is caught. It'll be shy of the first down to Jarius Wright. Tackled by Ryan Mundy, the safety, and the former Giant, picking up 8 yards. 4th down coming up, and the field goal team comes on for the Vikings.
Jarius Wright coming onto the field late, getting the play call from Teddy Bridgewater, and he ends up being the guy who gets the football. Usually that seems to happen sometimes in the game. Whenever there's some sort of miscommunication or a guy getting on the field late, running the wrong route, he always ends up being the guy the quarterback focuses on and throws to.
This will be a 37-yard try for Blair Walsh. And the kick is good, so Blair Walsh, who was perfect against the Dolphins 2 for 2, gives the Vikings a 3-0 lead here in the first quarter. Temperature in the teens here in Minneapolis. Vikings with a 3-0 lead, and 13 plays, and a touchdown catch by Jennings was overturned. He did not have control. Would have been a spectacular play. So Minnesota has the lead now. And Blair Walsh getting set to kick off. Mark Mariani again deep for the Bears. And he fields it on the run at the 3. Mariani trying to get outside, but the Vikings, superb coverage, does not allow Mariani to get to the 15, and Adam Thielen on the special teams tackle. And we're back here in Minneapolis. Dick Stockton, Brady Quinn, and Christina Pink. It'll be a first down at the 14-yard line for the Bears. Matt Forte caught 2 passes, rushed 4 times. And a very rocky first possession for Chicago. On the pass, Caught by Martellus Bennett, and he's ridden out of bounds after a couple of yards. And that last drive, I mean, you're talking about a timeout on 2nd down and 1, and then a false start.
It's been a frustrating year for the Chicago Bears offense, in particular Jay Cutler and all the things he's had to endure. They're the fourth most penalties, pre-snap penalties, and that's something that you can't allow. That's just focus and discipline on your offense and doing a better job of making sure you're aligned, have the play calls and all those sorts of things.
And a delay of the game tacked onto that. So 2nd down and 8. Forte getting to the 20, bringing up 3rd and 4.
One thing you'll see throughout the game is Minnesota, in particular, their double A-gap blitzes is what they like to call it, where they put 2 linebackers over the center. They like to do that, particularly on 3rd down. Head coach Mike Zimmer's famous for it. If you'll see it throughout the game, and the Bears really handled it well in their first matchup. It'll be interesting to see what adjustments both teams make in today's game.
3rd down and 4.
There they are, right there.
Cutler quickly, and he completes the pass to Josh Morgan, and the Bears have a 1st down. Morgan is pushed out of bounds at the 32 by Andrews and Dejo, picking up 13.
And one of the keys to beating those double A-gap pressures are being able to throw quick passes to the outside. Jay Cutler is able to get the ball out of his hands quick, let Josh Morgan make a nice catch and run with the football. And really what started that was the run before that Matt Forte had, getting them into a more 3rd and manageable position so they can throw those quick short passes to get the 1st down.
Bears now at the 33. Cutler nearly tripped going back, and this pass thrown out of bounds intended for Marquise Wilson.
Well, Matt Forte came up in protection to do his job in blocking, but having to trip up Jay Cutler, and he really was just out of rhythm and couldn't throw that ball on time when he needed to, so did the smart thing there and just threw the football away.
2nd down and 10 for the Bears. Since the NFC North was created back in 2002, they have finished last only twice. It would be 3 if they dropped this game to the Vikings. Second and 10, and the pass to the outside, caught by Wilson, and Wilson is tackled immediately, and they get about 4 yards on the play. Gerald Hodges, a lot of upside to Hodges in his 2nd year out of Penn State, and it'll be 3rd down and 6.
Hodges filling in for Anthony Barr, the 1st-round draft pick. Hodges done a nice job. He comes in on some of their nickel packages as well when offenses put an extra wide receiver out there. And he's extremely athletic, runs to the football very well.
Boy, this Viking defense virtually turned over entirely from a year ago.
A lot of youth, but they got some veteran guys around them too to help out.
3rd down and 6. Cutler going up the middle, and the pass is caught by Bennett. Close to the 1st down, and the forward progress would be enough for the 1st down for the Bears at the 43. Captain Munnerlyn was covering on the play, but Bennett, who came into the game tied for the lead in receiving with 82 catches, with career high for tight ends.
62 reports as an eligible receiver.
And the
number 62 is
Evan
eligible.
Britton comes in now for the Bears as an extra offensive lineman. It'll be a 1st down at the 44.
You're going to see a lot of Martellus Bennett and Alshon Jeffrey being targeted today. Those will be Cutler's go-to guys.
Cutler, pass is caught by Forte, but Hodges was on him all the way, and a gain of only 1. So this is an improved defense without question, Brady, since Zimmer has come aboard.
They call it the Zimmer effect, and all the players in that defense will tell you that. Harrison Smith in particular this week talked about just the variety of things that they do, and their team has continued to gain a better understanding of it, and they're really playing some of their best football in this latter part of the season.
However, last week in the collapse against the Dolphins, Zimmer said one of the worst defensive performances he had seen in a long time.
One of the outliers in their last 5 games, though.
2nd down and 9. Forte charges up the middle. He'll be about 5 yards shy of the 1st down with less than a minute remaining in the 1st.
You know, he's been coaching and he's been very well respected in coaching circles in the NFL for years. And it seemed to be he was patient with the head coaching job he decided to take. And I think he liked the opportunity to come here and then bring in an offensive coordinator like Norv Turner. With the experience between both coaches, they really have both sides of the football taken care of.
A lot of upside for the Vikings. 3rd down and 6. Cutler, the time, and the pass nearly intercepted, and it was Andrew Zendejo. No Bear receivers were in the area, and Zendejo, starting his 3rd game in a row, nearly dove for the interception. Instead, it's incomplete, and 4th down coming up.
Well, Martellus Bennett's going to be matched up on Audi Cole, and it's tight coverage. Jay Cutler throws the ball a little bit high, and why? Because he got pressure. He had to get outside the pocket. Whenever the quarterback has to move off his spot, he's going to be less accurate. Jay Cutler barely got away without an interception there.
Marcus Sherrills. And the ball takes a Chicago Bear bounce and will be down inside the 10 as time runs out. That is the end of the 1st quarter with the score. The Vikings 3 and the Bears nothing. Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
Well, on the left side of your screen, you have the Vikings cheerleaders, and that's Ragnar the Viking, I guess, trying out for the cheerleaders. Look at those moves. Dick, I've seen you dance before. That's very similar to how you dance, what we're seeing with Ragnar.
Yeah, I knew you get a shot in there, you know. I mean, you just, you know, it's funny enough looking at the pictures. You didn't have to put me into it. But start of the 2nd quarter, 1st down on the 8-yard line. And Joe Banyard with the carry and nothing doing. Well, coming up next, it's America's Game of the Week as the Lions take on the Packers with the NFC North Division title on the line. Others will see the Seahawks try to lock up the #1 seed in the NFC against the Rams, or the playoff-bound Cardinals taking on the 49ers. The action continues next right here on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Curious to see if the Detroit Lions can win one in Lambeau. It's been quite some time since they've been able to.
You know, one of these days it's going to happen, and they've got the defense to do it. 2nd down and 10. Banyard. And he's ridden down by Christian Jones, the impressive rookie from Florida State. How long has it been? Well, 1991, the last time the Lions won on the road against the Packers. That's 23 consecutive losses. So don't forget, the losers in the playoffs, the winner captures the division.
I think the difference for the Detroit Lions has been their defense. I mean, they're playing some great football in the month of December, something they historically haven't done. And that could be the deciding factor in today's games, their defense being able to stop Aaron Rodgers.
3rd down and 4 for the Vikings on the 14. Bridgewater, and this pass is caught, and it should be a 1st down. Rhett Ellison, the tight end, with Ryan Mundy defending, and it should be enough for a 1st down for Minnesota. Clutch getting out of danger back there.
What's so impressive about Teddy Bridgewater is his ability as a rookie to work all the way across the field. Watch his eyes as he finds Rhett Ellison, which is his last read, 3rd in the progression there on 3rd down. That's why he's been so effective. That's why he's matured so much. Everyone's raving about him in this rookie draft class.
And Mike Zimmer said no highs or lows. He's the same guy every day, and that's exactly what you want from a guy at that position. 1st down from the 19. Banyard carries some tacklers out to about the 25. And it'll be 2nd down and relatively short.
People talked about him coming in to the draft and worrying about him not being big enough if he could withstand all the hits. Well, he's done the job because he's smart and he's mobile. He's able to get outside the pocket when he has to, and he's able to get the ball out of his hands before guys can hit him the majority of the time.
Pretty ideal for the Vikings. Their defense is getting better. They got a new stadium in 2 years, and they got a rookie quarterback who's impressive.
The future's looking bright.
2nd down and 4, and on the end around, and there's Charles Johnson. I don't know if they had flea flicker in mind, because Johnson looked like he might have been looking to throw, and Shea McClellan smelled it out beautifully, and there's a big loss of 11 yards for the Vikings.
Shea McClellan was not fooled by this misdirection at all. He's on the left side on the line of scrimmage, and as soon as it's a little misdirection, he's right there to come up and make the tackle for a big loss.
Yeah, he wasn't going to throw. He just found McClellan right in his face way back there. So a huge defensive play for the Bears. And now it'll be 3rd down and 15. The ball back to the 15. Pressure up the middle on Bridgewater, and he takes off. And Bridgewater then fires. And a flag is down. Back behind the line of scrimmage.
Holding. Or 5. Down.
So John Sullivan, the center, holding on the play. 4th down coming up.
Well, it looks as if John Sullivan thought he had help from Charlie Johnson, his left guard, and did all he could to try to push Jay Ratliff away. Teddy Bridgewater did a nice job escaping, but apparently they're going to call that a hold every time.
And 4th down, Jeff Locke kicking it away, and Mariani with the fair catch. And the fair catch at the 44, so the Bears have good field position, good defense. They tried a little trickery to the Vikings, and it blew up in their face. Chicago Bowl when we come back, 3-0.
This game is sponsored by Pizza Hut. We're taking pizza where it's never been before. By Pepsi. Pepsi Hype for Halftime, the official sponsor of the Pepsi Super Bowl 49 halftime show. And by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL.
Christina and Brady in younger days frolicking in the snow. Mark Trestman, who has his own problems with the Chicago Bears, finishing up. They are 5-10. They're trailing 3-0. Good field position as they start from their 44. Cutler has completed 7 of 9 so far. Hands off to Forte and juking his way for a couple of yards. Well, what is the situation at quarterback going forward after Jay Cutler struggled this season? Benched last week. It was a tough season for the defense, and it's something that has to be addressed in the offseason, obviously. Lance Briggs and Charles Tillman have been mainstays on this team for a long time. Will they be brought back for another year? And what is the status of the head coach, Mark Trestman, as he completes his 2nd season in charge? A lot of questions that the Bears need answering as the offseason approaches, and getting rid of it on the Forte, and Cutler with great presence of mind got rid of it in time, got it off to Forte, who picked up 4 yards before Adi Cole brought him down. But again, Cutler didn't have much time for anything.
No, finding a way to survive with a little play action pass. Marquise Wilson actually falls down. He can't go to him, but stays alive, finds Forte to pick up a nice 9-yard gain to put him in 3rd and 2. These are the things that Jay Cutler does well, and everyone wants to question why he gets paid so much money. He's got so much ability. It's just a matter of finding a way to not turn over the football, which isn't all on him as it is.
3rd down and 2, and here is Forte, and Forte is not going to be there. Let's see where they spot the ball. It's going to be close, however, as Shamar Stephan, the 7th-round draft pick out of the University of Connecticut, making the play. And let's see whether we do have a measurement coming up. It is 4th down. It's the signal from Jeff Triplett.
Why not go for it? What do you got to lose? The way the season's gone, take a chance.
Well, you're already in Viking territory, and why not? And they are.
Obviously, Mark Trestman's not afraid to try to go for it on a 4th down. We'll see if they try to use a hard count as well to draw the Vikings defense off sides.
Wilson in motion. And the quarterback sneak, and it will be a 1st down, getting to the 45. By the way, the Bears trailing 3-0. This marked the 11th scoreless first quarter of the season for the Chicago Bears, most in the league.
Well, it never helps when you get off to a slow start. Another issue they've had is their field position. They've kind of lost that hidden yardage battle where they're not starting where they should be, and they're giving up more yards in the return game as well. So they haven't had great starting field position, one of the worst in the league, which never helps an offense get a jump start.
Cutler gets it out quickly, and there is Martellus Bennett shaking off a tackle, and Bennett close to yet another 1st down, close to the 35-yard line. Mark Trestman who was brought as a offensive specialist, and of course comes back to Minnesota, 4 years as a Viking assistant. Second year as a head coach, 5 games under 500 into this one, and a lot of questions about his future.
Yeah, we talked on what's the biggest difference between last year and this year. Clearly the turnovers, but really just not playing complementary football, he felt, between offense, defense, and special teams, and obviously personnel changes, the O-line moving around. A lot of things, just not a lot of consistency really from any phase in the football.
Second down and 1, and Forte gets the first down as he gets to the 32-yard line. Hodges in on the tackle. The Chicago Bears, so promising early on, winning a couple of road games. They were 3-3 at one point, and then they lost 3 straight games. They lost to the Dolphins at home, and then they allowed 51 points to New England, 55 to Green Bay, and then just things started to unravel from there.
Yeah, and again, change that quarterback due to poor performance, as Mark Trestman put it.
First time in his career he's had to do that, and the ball lying on the ground, and penalty flag.
False start. Number 79 hits. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, they're going to call this on Bushrod, but it really could have been the whole entire offense beside Garza. It didn't look like Roberto Garza snapped the football, so clearly a miscommunication between the rest of the offense is what the cadence was actually on.
Garza, by the way, getting a 1-year extension in his contract. The general manager, Phil Emery, and of course, I guess he's part of the picture of the front office, the coaching staff, the quarterback, and what their futures are, all of them. First down and 15 from the 37. Cutler still has it, nowhere to go, and goes down at the 40-yard line. Did not have a receiver opening, and he loses 3 yards.
Well, they were trying to run a quick screen to the outside, but you're going to see there's really no window to throw the ball to Marquise Wilson, so Jay Cutler does the best he can to scramble around and get down. The key there is he can't throw the ball downfield because there's offensive linemen blocking downfield.
So he did the right thing.
He did the smart thing and got down with the football.
Second down and 19, the 8th play of this drive. Bears are not in field goal position right now. And this pass caught by Bennett trying to get away, and he can't from Captain Munnerlyn. So Munnerlyn hangs on, and that will bring up 3rd down for the Bears. 3rd down and long.
One of the things you're seeing today so far from Jay Cutler is him throwing much shorter passes. Taking things underneath, high completion percentage passes, trying to stay in more third manageable. Really the penalties and some of these bad plays that have happened have been what's kept them back, but he's been pretty efficient so far today.
You're right, 10 of 12, but only for 47 yards, so he has gone short. 3rd down and 15. Cutler on the run, and the pass thrown behind. Forte, well defended, however, by a couple of Vikings, including Gerald Hodges, and that will bring up 4th down. So it looked like the Bears were in a rhythm there offensively, and then things fizzled, and they'll have to kick it away.
Ryan Groy, the left guard, got beat right from the get-go, and that's been an issue that the Bears have had all season long, is protection issues that have forced Jay Cutler off the spot, not feeling comfortable. And unfortunately, that's never going to help your quarterback be able to get into a rhythm or stay in a rhythm.
Marcus Sherrills, and he'll let that ball bounce. It goes into the end zone for the touchback. And the Vikings will get it back at the 20, 3-0. 5:16 remaining in the first half. The Vikings lead the Bears. Bears have controlled the ball more, but the total yardage is all even at 83. The Vikings have gained 1 more yard on the ground. Bears 1 more yard through the air. Starting from the 20-yard line. Bridgewater is 4 for 8 thus far, 42 yards, and movement in the line. False start call against the Vikings.
False
Kyle
start.
Rudolph.
Number 82 in the offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Well, what will happen to Adrian Peterson in the offseason? The big question here after missing all but one game due to a suspension this season. Teddy Bridgewater will go into the offseason as the starting quarterback after a solid rookie season. And the team will attempt to build around, as we mentioned, some of the young players who have taken a step forward this season. And Mike Zimmer will enter his second year as the head coach as the team looks to advance. It's all there. Bridgewater with the screen pass to Asiata. Asiata on the move. And he finally gets down at the 25-yard line by Jonathan Bostic after picking up 10 yards.
Joe Berger, the right guard, did a nice job of getting outside and able to block in front for Matt Asiata. Well-designed play by offensive coordinator Norv Turner to get them back on track.
Second down and 5. Pass incomplete, intended for Charles Johnson with Fuller on the coverage.
A little high there to Charles Johnson. Hit him earlier in the game on another in route. Something that some people are a little bit leery of, but as you can see, Mike Zimmer doing a nice job really bringing this team along. I know they haven't seen the results they would have liked in this season, but I think it will pay off in the future. He's got this defense playing the way they want with some building blocks, and Anthony Barr, Harrison Smith, Xavier Rhodes at the corner position. A lot of promise with this Vikings team.
There is nucleus here, no question about it. On third down and 5, Bridgewater completes the pass. Trying to get first down yardage is Jarius Wright, and he's unable to do so. He'll be shy by about a yard. So Ryan Mundy, tell you, the Bears secondary doing a solid job back there against the Viking receivers. Fourth down coming up, and Minnesota will kick it away.
The defensive coordinator Mel Tucker's done a nice job this year. I know they've given up a bunch of points, but really they've been riddled with injuries and battling some inexperienced players being forced to play. They've got 17 rookies on their 53-man roster, most of anyone in the NFL.
Jeff Locke will kick, and Mark Mariani back deep. Low kick, Mariani. And the ball bounces around, and the Bears have it. Very tricky right there in case it goes off of a Bear. Free ball, and Sharek McManus makes the recovery after the 43-yard punt. And so the Bears get it back.
This game is sponsored by Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online. Visa, everywhere you want to be.
Ringing the new year on Fox Sports 1 as we bring you a marathon of Big East basketball featuring all 10 teams in the conference. Among the games is a showdown between Butler and number 7 Villanova. The Big East New Year's Eve Marathon begins at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Xavier Rhodes, the best cornerback on the Minnesota Vikings team, will be primarily matching up versus Alshon Jeffries.
They're starting from the 28. Cutler with a screen pass to Forte. Good defense that time by Adi Cole. He's had a terrific game here, starting in place of the injured Chad Greenway. And now time for a game break. Here's Joel Klatt.
All right, Dick, to Kansas City we go. San Diego needs to win to get in the playoffs. This is going to help. Down 10-0 early. Brandon Oliver takes it in for 1 yard out. They draw within 3. 10-7. Dick and Brady.
And Alex Smith not playing today. Chase Daniel is at quarterback, and the Chiefs lead.
Played last year versus San Diego Chargers.
Second down and 9. Cutler up the middle, and the pass is caught by Bennett, and it'll be a first down for the Bears up to the 43-yard line. Harrison Smith on the tackle. So far, we have not had a gain of more than 19 yards by either team, so it's been all close with the yardage.
Martellus Bennett's a tough matchup for any linebacker or any safety. He's going to be matched up on Adi Cole there and finds the soft spot in the zone to get the first down. But he's big, he's physical, and he's able to run routes almost like a wide receiver, which makes him a viable option in this offense.
Already has caught 5 passes today. From the 44. Cutler getting out of trouble and finally completes the pass. Dante Rosario makes a catch of the low ball, and they get to the 46-yard line for a minimal gain of 3 as we wind down to the 2-minute warning here in Minneapolis. So Jay Cutler and the Bears have not been able to score, just a field goal in this game. Vikings lead 3-0. Will return to Minnesota in a moment. Well, follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. The Bears have 2 timeouts remaining. Vikings have the full complement. Here's Forte on the pitch. Trapped. Can't get away. And finally, it's Sharif Floyd who puts them down, and a loss of 1.
They're trying to matriculate the ball down the field with short passes. They try to use a little slant and go to Alshon Jeffries, who's yet to have a catch in this game. Their last meeting had 11 receptions for 135 yards and a touchdown. So clearly they're trying to be very precise, taking their shots downfield.
Vikings call a timeout, and you say matriculate the ball downfield. That's Hank Stram all over again. 3-0 Vikings. We're here in the Midwest, of course, Chicago, seeing our game, South Bend, Indiana. And you know, you're allowed, Brady Quinn, to talk about players who didn't go to Notre Dame today.
Well, we've got a lot of Notre Dame players in the field, though. John Sullivan, Harrison Smith, Jimmy Clausen's hitter today, not playing, but there's Robert Blanton as well. I mean, there's a plenty of Notre Dame guys. Kyle Rudolph.
And then you can continue to mention Notre Dame players here when we talk about that.
Why not?
Third down and 8.
Played with, so.
No. You're a contemporary, my friend. Here's Cutler stepping up, and the pass is caught. It'll be a first down. Alshon Jeffrey with his first catch of the game.
We talked about the matchup of Xavier Rhodes on Alshon Jeffries. You'll see him right there on your screen. He's doing a nice job of pressing vertical and giving him a little out move to get out around Xavier Rhodes and find a window for Jay Cutler to throw to.
Running game, Matt Forte getting to the 30. Remember, the Bears have 2 timeouts remaining, trailing 3-0. Already in range for what would be a long field goal try by Jay Feely. There's the pass overthrown, intending for Jeffrey, the wide receiver. It does stop the clock at 1:03. There is Feely. By the way, this is the 6th team he's been with in his career, kicking for the 4th game, and believe it or not, has not yet had a field goal attempt in a Bears uniform.
Tells you a little bit about some of the struggles the Bears have had. Going to have to find a way to get him a little bit closer there, just to give the guy an opportunity to have more of a chip shot, being in his first field goal.
And they're not in the dome, remember. 3rd down and 5.
The wind's starting to pick up just a little bit.
Cutler quickly out there, incomplete, intended for Rosario, and it's 4th down. And Jay Feely is going to come onto the field to try a field goal. He has been successful on 5 of 6 conversions, but this will be his first field goal try for the Chicago Bears, and it won't be an easy one. A 48-yard attempt for Feely.
Going back to that last play, I mean, opportunity there for Jay Cutler to get a conversion, but really wasn't able to set his feet and deliver an accurate throw.
And looking to tie this game. Robbie Gould out with a quad injury, so Feely, the veteran, aboard. And Jay Feely's kick is good, delivering on his first try for Mark Trestman and the Bears. Jay Feely with a 48-yard field goal ties the game 3-3 with 55 seconds remaining in the half. We're tied 3-3. Halftime is coming up. The Visa halftime report with Kurt Menefee. Here's what he's going to be talking about.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, the final spot in the AFC will be determined today. The Chargers win over Kansas City, they're in. If they lose, then Baltimore is in with a win. If they lose, well, then it's Houston and it's Kansas City, and a whole lot to talk about, all on the Visa halftime.
All right, and the playoff picture in the AFC, the Steelers and the Bengals will be playing tonight for the AFC North title. The losers still in the playoffs. The Chargers are losing 13-7. They need to win to wrap up the wild card. Ravens, Texans, and Chiefs still alive.
Yeah, if the Chargers win, they're in. That seems like the easiest way to just finish off this playoff picture without jumping through a bunch of hoops. You talked about it. The Baltimore Ravens were able to get in with the win over Cleveland, and San Diego losing today. That'd be 3 teams in the playoffs for the AFC North.
Cordero Patterson, we haven't mentioned his name, and he's got a lot of speed, a lot of ability. We saw him in the opening game of the year, and he was terrific as a rusher. And this kick is kicked to the short man at the 20-yard line, and Matt Asiata returns it out to the 32-yard line. Well, have you heard about Empire? It's coming in January to Fox. If you love high drama and amazing music, this is the show for you. Empire premieres Wednesday, January 7th on Fox. Well, Philly wasn't going to kick it to Cordero Patterson, who can explode. And now the Vikings, who are just about even Steven in the play selection department. First down from their 32. They have 2 timeouts remaining with 51 seconds on the clock. Teddy Bridgewater, a lot of time, goes to the outside to the tight end Rhett Ellison, and Ellison picks up about 7.5 yards.
Plenty of time here with 2 timeouts for them to get at least in field goal range. And part of doing that is getting a positive start. A completion on first down is a big part of that.
Patterson is in as a wide receiver, as you saw, and the pass thrown underneath once again to Ellison, and the tight end has a first down at midfield. And with 25 seconds remaining, the Vikings will call a timeout, and they will have 1 remaining.
Minnesota, their second. The 30-second timeout.
Rhett Ellison doing a nice job finding the soft spots in the zone coverage of the Chicago Bears defense. He's filled in nicely for Kyle Rudolph, the Pro Bowl tight end for the Vikings that's had some nagging injuries throughout the season. 4th round pick in 2012, primarily used in blocking situations, but he's found himself more of a pass catching tight end in recent weeks.
If you're looking at a field goal situation for the Vikings, Blair Walsh, longest successful field goal is 56 yards. Right now the Vikings are at midfield with 1 timeout left. They have a first down, and Bridgewater in trouble, and down he goes. The first sack of the game. And it's executed by the Bears and Jay Ratliff at a loss of 8 yards. And that will set the Vikings back to their own 42. With 13 seconds remaining, they have called.
Well, they bring a edge pressure here versus Teddy Bridgewater. This is something, excuse me, other linebacker came, but this is something that's kind of the in vogue thing to do now in the NFL, to try to disrupt the quarterback and collapse the pocket on him. And now really the Vikings don't have much else they can do but try to just run the clock out and take it into halftime.
Yeah, they called their last timeout here. So good pressure by the Bears defense. And remember, they're playing without Willie Young, who led the team in sacks before he went out with that Achilles tendon problem last week.
Yeah, and this is the Zimmer effect. You know, that pressure is something that Mike Zimmer has become famous for in the NFL, and you're starting to see it in this copycat league. Other teams utilizing it as well.
Second down and 18. Bridgewater, and he has to throw underneath, and the pass caught by Banyard. And Banyard gets to the 46 of Chicago. Gain of 11, and time is going to run out, and that will do it. First half is history. Just a couple of field goals. Halftime with the Bears and the Vikings all tied 3-3. We now go to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles for the Visa Halftime Report, which starts now. The score here as we get set for the start of the third quarter, and today's excitement is brought to you by Nissan. Matt Forte, 5th season with 1,000 or more rushing yards. He's had a great year. Well, Mr. Golden Domer, I must ask you, do we expect and anticipate any big plays? We haven't had any yet for either team.
No, we haven't yet, and I'd anticipate some more shots downfield. We've got a tight ball game at 3-3, but neither team's really been able to capitalize on hitting anything downfield, so I'd suspect Alshon Jeffrey's going to get more involved, and Greg Jennings had an opportunity earlier in the game but couldn't bring the catch in. I suspect they'll take more chances this second half.
That would have been a 35-yard touchdown, but it was not controlled. Vikings who won the toss and deferred, get the ball here. Feely keeps it on the ground, and the short man will return it and get it out to the 35-yard line. So Feely is not that deep a kicker, and you kick it out of the end zone, it's the 20, and right now they're going to get it about the 35-yard line. That was Joe Banyard who picked up that loose ball. So the Vikings will start from their 35. Not bad.
Not bad. And again, you've got to credit Cordero Patterson for the way he's played this season. He's one of the top in the leagues in returning on kickoff returns, giving the Vikings good field position. So clearly they don't want to give him an opportunity to have a big play of his own.
All right, let's see what the first play brings from Teddy Bridgewater. 9 of 14, but for just 85 yards passing. Dropped by Greg Jennings. Let's send it down to Christina Pink.
Thank you, Dick. Well, a tie game at the half, and two coaches talking to me about penalties. Mark Trestman told me at halftime that time of possession was one positive in that first half, but he said twice we got downfield and we hurt ourselves defensively. I think we've been able to control this game. Mike Zimmer telling me that we have to run the ball better and stop hurting ourselves here in the second half. Back up to you, Dick.
All right, Christina, only 6 penalties in the game in this pass, and it's picked off a deflection, and it's Kyle Fuller. Fuller still on his feet, and they're going to push him in. Touchdown! Kyle Fuller never went down. It was deflected off of Cordero Patterson into the hands of Kyle Fuller. His 4th interception of the year, and the Bears have scored a defensive touchdown early here in the third quarter.
The ball's thrown a little bit behind Cordero Patterson because the safety Ryan Mundy was coming down, and Kyle Fuller makes a heads-up play, gets his hands on the football, and then shows off his athleticism. I think his knee may have touched the ground.
There.
It appears to swipe the ground right there. Nonetheless, a tremendous play by Fuller in the presence of mind to be able to still try to get back up and score a touchdown.
And they're going to review it, and tell you what, it looked like the entire Bears team pushed him into the end zone for the touchdown. It would be the first touchdown, but if that knee is ruled down by Jeff Triplett, still be the interception. The Bears will still have a first down deep in Viking territory at worst.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. By Burger King. Mix and match 2 large premium sandwiches for just $5 only at Burger King. And by ExxonMobil.
The ruling on the field is that Kyle Fuller on the interception did get in for the touchdown, but did his knee touch the grass?
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is reversed. The runner's knee is down by contact with the ball at the 9-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Chicago. Correction, 1st and goal for Chicago at the 9.
So the score remains 3-3.
Credit Teddy Bridgewater hustling back to get a hand on Kyle Fuller and cause him to get off balance and actually be down at the 9. Otherwise, that would have been a touchdown for Chicago. Good hustle by Teddy Bridgewater, a rookie doing the right thing, and a nice play by rookie Kyle Fuller.
So that is his 4th interception of the year, and it'll be 1st and goal, and this is the deepest penetration the Bears have had all game. Only player with 4 interceptions and 3 forced fumbles, the #1 draft pick out of Virginia Tech. Remember that Charles Tillman?
If there's one thing the Bears do well too in the red zone, they score touchdowns when they're down. They're 3rd in the league, coming away with touchdowns.
Tillman on injured reserve. And so Kyle Fuller is one to watch for the future. Here's Forte, and he gets a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd down and goal at about the 7.
You mentioned it, Charles Tillman on IR, Lance Briggs, some of those pieces of the defense that have been around for so long and so effective, and this will be their last year in the Chicago Bears with all the changes that are to come in the ensuing weeks.
Question is, can the Bears get it across in what has been just a matchup of 2 field goals in the game? 2nd down and goal from the 7.
Looker matchup here with Martellus Bennett in the middle of the field.
Quickly to Bennett, but he's down. No chance with Audie Cole there. Didn't have much balance there, did the tight end. So now 3rd down and goal.
Well, Audie Cole's sure done the job today, filling in for the injured Chad Greenway at the weak side linebacker. Cutler does his best, makes a little check to Martellus Bennett, but Audie Cole's able to make the tackle in space. Nowhere for Martellus Bennett to go. Now a big 3rd down here. Let's again see if they work to Alshon Jeffrey, their playmaker, who had a big game the last meeting versus the Vikings. In the slot on your screen.
3rd and goal. Cutler. Jeffrey is there, and the ruling is no ruling. We did not get a call, and now we do. A touchdown. Alshon Jeffrey at the corner of the end zone as the officials confer to make sure that both feet are in bounds. And, of course, all scoring plays like turnovers are reviewed as well.
Let's see if he was able to control possession of the football and get both feet in. There's his right foot and never gets in his left foot.
Not even close. Not even close.
The refs took their time to make a call, but that doesn't seem correct.
They took their time and ruled touchdown when didn't seem even close. We'll be back. Ruling was a touchdown. Mike Pereira in Los Angeles. No way.
It is an incomplete pass. As the receiver only got 1 foot down in the end zone. The clock is correct. It'll be 4th and goal at the 7.
Not even close getting 2 feet in, Mike Pereira, but the call was touchdown.
Yeah, listen, you got to get this right on the field. The deep official, Boris Cheek, is going to be watching for control here. You can see his eyes looking up for the ball. But now you've got to get the line judge to come down and make the call that the 2nd foot never even got close to the ground. You got to get that call right on the field. No excuse for that.
Jay Feely with a 25-yard field goal, which is good to give the Bears a 6-3 lead. Let's see it again from up top.
The key here, watch the eyes. Watch the eyes. He's looking control. He's looking control. He's watching the whole process, which is good. Acknowledging, he'll nod his head to acknowledge that he had control. Now it's up to the head linesman to come down and say that both feet got down, and he didn't do that. That's the guy that has to make the call. And this is the NFL. I mean, you have to make those calls.
Well, they're playing in a college stadium, so maybe for whatever reason he got confused where he was at. Thought he only needed 1 foot in.
Hey, Mike, thanks very much.
That's it. Finally figured it out.
We knew there was a reason, Mike. Thanks very much. Mike Pereira in our studios in Los Angeles. So what a weird, in our graphics department, they had 9 up for Chicago on 2 touchdowns that were both had to be called back. One because of the knee hitting the ground for Fuller, who made the interception. And then, of course, Alshon Jeffrey only had 1 foot in. And so finally, Feely said, let me just get the field goal and let's settle for 3, and they do.
These teams are teasing us right now. All these big plays for touchdowns getting overturned and called back.
Feely kicking it to the 5-yard line, and Sherrills will down it for the touchback, and the Vikings will take it out at the 20-yard line. So it's 6-3, and Jay Feely, who had not tried a field goal in his previous 3 games since joining the Bears, connects from 48 and 25 to account for the Chicago scores.
If they're getting their money's worth out of Feely today. Hasn't really been too active before, but he's a veteran. He's been around, and he knows how this goes. Good job adapting to a new long snapper and a holder to execute.
No question. First down at the 20 for the Vikings. Hand off to Matt Asiata, cutting up the middle. Good gain by Asiata at about 6 yards. Take a look at the NFC playoff picture. And, of course, as you know, the America's Game of the Week coming up, Packers-Lions. One of those teams will win the NFC North. The Cardinals are in the playoffs, and the Falcons are playing the Panthers. The winner of that game will have home field and win the division. Asiata That with the losing record as Asiata gets the first down out to the 33 of the Vikings.
As Christina Pink talked about, clearly the Minnesota Vikings are trying to establish the running game right now. With Matt Asiata now, he's averaging about 5.8 yards a carry, doing a nice job of running north and south, and these physical runs. That's the style of back he is. He almost looks like a fullback.
Of course, no Adrian Peterson, who was removed from the offense in week 2 of this year. Asiata getting the call. No gain there. Early here in the third quarter, battle of field goals with the Bears winning 6-3. The winner of this game will end up third in the NFC North. And of course, the draft picture for Chicago, if they win, they will pick between 8th and 11th in that first round. A loss, they will pick 7th. None of these players are thinking at all, believe us, about draft choices. Bridgewater dumps it off, and Asiata through his hands. Right now, let's send it down to Christina Pink.
Well, Dick, you mentioned Adrian Peterson. Still a question mark for this Vikings team. It is an NFL decision, but his suspension at the earliest could be over, and he could be reinstated on April 15th. Then the Vikings will have their own decision to make on a running back that has done a lot for this franchise.
No question about that. And they've missed him, and the Vikings have marched on without him. And a win today, the Vikings would finish 7-9 on the season. 3rd down and 9 for Teddy Bridgewater. On the run, fires, completes the pass for the tight end into Bear territory to Adam Thielen. And a first down. So a 21-yard gain, and that is the biggest gain from scrimmage for either side in this game so far.
These are the skills you need to play quarterback in the NFL. Teddy Bridgewater steps up, moves over in the pocket, keeps his eyes downfield, and finds Thielen for the first down.
First down and through the air again, going deep, and wide open is Thielen for the touchdown. This is called going to your hot hand.
What appears to be a blown coverage in the Chicago Bears secondary. Adam Thielen, not one of the go-to guys. He's only got 7 catches now in his career, his first touchdown. And Teddy Bridgewater's fired up.
2 passes in succession to Adam Thielen, one for 21 yards, this one 44 yards, and a touchdown.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 23 in the defense. That penalty is going to be assessed on the ensuing kickoff. It's also the first sideline warning for Minnesota.
So we have a bunch of things here. Unsportsmanlike conduct called against the Bears, Kyle Fuller, and then a warning on the sideline of the Vikings. Here's Blair Walsh, and that kick is good. So after a couple of false touchdowns by the Bears, the Vikings make this click. Bridgewater to Thielen, 44 yards. 10-6.
This game is sponsored by American Sniper from Warner Brothers Pictures. Now playing in select theaters everywhere January 16th.
So that's Adam Thielen, and here he is on special teams out of Mankato State. Mariani returning the kickoff. So Adam Thielen, a first-year player on the practice squad all of last year. And this is his 2nd touchdown, first as a receiver.
Well, there's a miscommunication between Tim Jennings and Demontre Hurst. Once Thielen releases inside, he's going to get back outside on his go route. And Teddy Bridgewater does a nice job of finding the mishap in the secondary, something that's plagued the Chicago Bears all year long. There's blood in the water, and Teddy Bridgewater's taking advantage right now.
Adam Thielen in week 13 blocked a punt and returned it 30 yards for a touchdown. Only the 4th player in history to do that. Now he gets one as a receiver as Matt Forte carries and gets beyond the 20-yard line. Everson Griffin making the tackle.
Excuse me earlier, his first career touchdown as a wide receiver. Again,
right.
Not on special teams, but yes. And these are what these games are about. when people say they're not playing for anything, well, a guy like Adam Thielen is. He's playing for a job next year, and there's plenty of other young rookies on this team, in particular on Minnesota, that are trying to continue to build on the foundation they've set in Mike Zimmer's first year as head coach.
2nd down and 7 on the 21. Cutler's pass, and it is caught. Good play made by Dante Rosario with Audie Cole defending. And a first down for the Bears, picking up 22 yards out to the 43. And of course, you played the game. You go through a weeks of practice looking at film. You take the field. You want to win the game. You don't go in there half-heartedly. I don't think anyone does.
No, all these guys are hardcore competitors, and they never want to leave the field losing.
And on the end around, Josh Morgan of the Bears. And Morgan close to picking up another first down, maybe a yard or so shy, getting 9 that time.
And you can see Mark Trestman's really opening up the playbook here, mixing in some reverses, some shots to guys they don't typically work the ball to, as they took a shot at Dante Rosario, their second tight on the last play. He's a nice compliment to Martellus Bennett as well. So clearly the Bears feel like they want to start taking shots now and try to open up this offense a little bit, not so much of the dinking and dunking we saw in the first half.
Yeah, we're seeing more open plays, and that was the question we asked at halftime. They're on the 48, the Bears are, of the Vikings. 2nd down and 1. Cutler being rushed, completes the pass to Jeffrey, and a first down close to the 30-yard line. With Xavier Rhodes defending, they get 15 there. So we're seeing huge chunks of yardage being eaten up by both teams here in this third quarter.
Well, then that's what you see out of both these coaching staffs, halftime adjustments. Now they're trying to exploit things they saw in the first half and capitalize on them. And credit Jay Cutler, did a nice job of checking that last play to work his one-on-one matchup with Alshon Jeffries.
And a first down on the Viking 33. Forte reversing his field, and he's going to lose yardage. Gerald Hodges has had an outstanding game. Remember, he is starting for the impressive rookie Anthony Barr, but Harrison Smith as well. 2 young players to watch in the Viking defense.
And another young guy who got into that play with some penetration was defensive tackle Sharif Floyd. Penetrated and allowed the linebackers to be able to shoot through the offensive line to make a tackle for loss.
Loss of 3. So it's 2nd and 13, back to the 36. Screen pass, Forte, not going anywhere. Everson Griffin. And once again, Bears are stymied. They lose 3 yards again, so they've lost 6 yards in the last 2 plays.
These are one of the issues the Chicago Bears offense has had. They just haven't been able to have consistency. They put some good plays together, and then they end up having a few losses or some penalties or a turnover. It's what's plagued their offense the entire year.
Individually, big game for Forte. 2nd player with 1,000 yards rushing and 100 receptions. LaDainian Tomlinson the other one. But it's 3rd down and 16. Bears going in reverse. Cutler completes the pass to Marquise Wilson, and Wilson getting down to the 25-yard line will be about 2 yards shy of the first down.
Marquise Wilson's done a nice job stepping in when Brandon Marshall went out. Had his career high last week, 7 catches for 66 yards, and he's a guy who just really hasn't got his confidence back. He hurt his collarbone in training camp and was tearing it up in the preseason, but then really didn't find his confidence back on the field until the past few weeks, stepping in for Marshall.
So Jay Feely aboard again. This will be a 43-yard attempt. He's 2 for 2. Trying to bring the Bears closer, but he pushes his one to the right, misses. And the score remains the Vikings 10 and the Bears 6. Feely now 2 for 3. Misses his first kick as a Chicago Bear. We'll be back. 6:06 remaining in the third quarter. Vikings lead 10-6, and they take over on their 33 after Feely's missed field goal. Here's Matt Asiata. He stopped behind the line of scrimmage and ends up with a burst and shy of the first down by a couple.
You know, Dick, we're coming to a new stadium here for both of us today, and our stat crew did some work this week, and this is actually the 70th NFL stadium you've done a broadcast from. It's just an incredible career, and in my first year, I just want to say thank you for bringing me along and making this all possible.
Well, I was going to save this for later, but you have been a joy to work with, and you've got a great future here as a broadcaster. You got a lot of spark, and you look pretty good too, which is not bad, as Matt Asiata drives close for the first down. But, you know, I've really enjoyed working with guys that are breaking into the business who work very hard at their new craft, and that's what you're doing. And, yeah,
look at that. A Dick Stockton jersey there. He knew. The Vikings fans here knew. I took a picture of, actually, Dick, on the way in with a big fan as we were coming into the game today. So.
I've worked in some strange stadiums, including Harvard Stadium when the Patriots played a season there. Hard to believe it's up to 70. Here is Bridgewater, and Bridgewater gets it off to Asiata, who gets into Bear territory, stopped by Jonathan Bostic. Good pressure that time by Jay Ratliff.
Teddy Bridgewater just playing so tough, you know, for a guy who's not that big, only 6'2", 210 pounds. Skinny guy, but he's smart. He finds ways to slide through in the pocket and make throws while he's still getting hit. Again, a very bright future for this young man.
Second down and 3. Nowhere this time. Asiata stopped in his tracks by Jared Allen.
We talked about the Minnesota Vikings laying the foundation, and you can see on both sides of the football. Teddy Bridgewater, their first-round draft pick this year. Charles Johnson's really emerged the past few weeks as one of their targets on the outside. Harrison Smith, some people believe to be a Pro Bowl snub, and Anthony Barr's on IR right now, but he's been one of those guys who's converted now to an outside linebacker and done a fantastic job getting after the quarterback in the NFL.
Third down and 3, and Bridgewater's pass caught, first down. Greg Jennings. And the Vikings scored the only touchdown in the game. Hurst on the tackle, and a first down to the 43 of the Bears.
You've got to be impressed with Teddy Bridgewater. Again, another conversion on third down, him passing the football. He just seems to have such command for such a young man in this league, and that's what all the coaches and players talk about, just his demeanor and his professionalism.
Look how he's really amped it up since that first quarter. Banyard with the run gets a couple, and by the way, with that touchdown pass to Thielen, Teddy Bridgewater now has thrown a touchdown pass in 10 consecutive games. Talk about consistency.
His consistency, whether it's his approach to practice each day in the facility or even coming out on a week-to-week basis, he's extremely consistent, and that's what a coaching staff in the NFL looks for. They can see the same guy every day.
Second and 8. Bridgewater not going to get away this time from Christian Jones. He had 11 tackles and a sack against the Lions last week. He gets his second sack of the season in as many weeks. He has started at all 3 linebacker positions, and he is a shining bright part of the future for this Bears defense.
Yeah, second sack of his career. Really had his best game of his career last week, as you had mentioned, but extremely athletic, does a nice job rushing the quarterback and finding ways to run sideline to sideline to get to the football.
Third down and 11. Back to the 44 for Bridgewater. With time, goes underneath, completes to Charles Johnson, and Johnson is down at the 40-yard line, and that'll bring up fourth down. DeMontre Hurst, backup cornerback on the play, a pickup of 4, and they're going to send the punter on, Jeff Locke, with 1:49 remaining in the third.
Bridgewater did a nice job of finding a completion, trying to add yards to this punt, but if there's one thing I'd like to see him do, he missed it in the end of the first half, is be a little more patient. He had Greg Jennings opening up on a deeper out route. If he had hung in there half a second longer and made one of those throws to the sidelines, he would have had it.
Mariani is back. Fair catch called immediately at the 12. So the Bears, who've had to settle for 2 field goals, thought they had a couple of touchdowns, but that didn't go. Get the ball back when we return to Minneapolis.
Number 62 is...
Now, do you think Bear fans got good seats here? Let's see now. Let's see what kind of seats they...
No.
Not so much.
They've got to be warm in those suits, though. That's one thing we can be assured of.
They put that Bear head down. A lot warmer then. Eben Britton, an extra offensive lineman. 1st and 10 inside his 5. And Cutler's going to go down inside the 10-yard line. Good pressure that time. Corey Wooden, former Chicago Bear. Time for a game break. Here's Joel Klatt.
All right, Dick, interesting things going on in the AFC. Baltimore now down 10-3 to the Cleveland Browns. San Diego down 19-7 to Kansas City, which means that Jacksonville being down 14-10 to Houston would put the Texans in the playoffs. You got all that, Dick?
Yeah, I do, Joel. And San Diego had the golden opportunity. All they had to do was win and they'd be in, and it's not working out that way. Meanwhile, 2nd down and 13 after the sack and the loss of 3 yards. Cutler taken off, and Cutler gets the first down. So Jay Cutler using his legs and gets the first down, picking up 15.
Something that he doesn't always utilize, but he's got a lot of athleticism. When he wants to get outside the pocket and run, he can, and he's had to at times this season. We talked about it earlier, 9 different starting rotations for the offensive line for the Chicago Bears. That's the most in the NFL.
Longest run of the year for Cutler was 25 yards, but he gets his team out of trouble, and time will run out here in this defensive battle. That is the end of the 3rd quarter. Wooten, the former Bear, with the sack. 10-6. We'll be back. We start the 4th quarter. Dick Stockton along with Brady Quinn and Christina Pink. The Vikings lead the Bears 10-6. Vikings looking for their first division win of the year. They have a first down on the 24, the Bears, and this pass is overthrown. Martellus Bennett. So it'll be 2nd and 10 for Chicago. Well, Week 17 continues later today on Fox and on CBS, and then tonight it's Sunday Night Football on NBC. Nothing automatic, do we, friend, have in the final week when you have chances for so many teams, and we've been talking AFC so far.
Yeah, we just talked about it. I mean, San Diego would have made it easy. If they win, they're in. Now they're down, and it appears as if Kansas City might come away with that game. And Baltimore's down, so now it's open up the door to Houston.
They're leading 14-10 in the 3rd quarter. Here is Matt Forte. And Forte, banner day for Matt Forte, who's had a brilliant season for the Chicago Bears. He gets 4 yards on that play.
Really a brilliant career, and Mark Trestman talked about it. He's the complete back. Some backs come off the field on 3rd down, but no, he can pass protect, he can catch balls out in routes, and he can run extremely effective. Has great vision, a smart player, really takes care of his body in the offseason as well. That's why he's been so effective for so long.
3rd down and 6. Cutler. And the pass incomplete, intended for Alshon Jeffrey with Xavier Rhodes covering on the play. You mentioned Rhodes, who has made a big jump in this his 2nd year in the league.
Well, he has, and he's always going to take on that challenge of matching up with the best wide receiver each week. A little physical there and some touchy from both players, but really nowhere to put the football. Jay Cutler wants a flag, and they could use it, believe me right now, trying to find a rhythm for the Bears offense.
Patrick O'Donnell will punt it away, and Marcus Sherrills. Good punt by O'Donnell. Sherrills at the 16. Changes direction and goes down the sideline. Marcus Sherrills with a great return close to halftime, or half midfield, and pushed out of bounds by Patrick O'Donnell. Terrific return of 35 yards for Sherrills.
Game on Fox is sponsored by Taco Bell. The new way to Taco Bell is here, only in the app. By State Farm. Pump up your savings with a discount double check today. And by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving.
Ten to 6 the score. The Vikings lead early here in the 4th, and Marcus Sherrills officially, that was a 32-yard punt return. His season's long as 35. He is behind there. You see him behind number 46. And good field position. First down at the 47 of the Vikings. Teddy Bridgewater with time. Complete. And Jennings with the catch. And a first down to the 34-yard line. A pickup of 19.
And this is the play where I wanted Teddy Bridgewater just to be a little bit more patient with, and he was here. He was able to find Greg Jennings and fit that ball in on the sidelines. A nice job being patient and letting the routes develop. You see this maturation process happening right before our eyes, even in this game still.
Bears won the first meeting between the teams at Soldier Field. Vikings lead here. Pump fake. Ball almost knocked out of his hands, but he held on. And Bridgewater runs up and gets a couple of yards. Could have been worse for Bridgewater. Good pressure by the defensive tackle Stephen Payat and a gain of 2 for Bridgewater.
Good presence of mind by Teddy Bridgewater to hang on to the football and then scramble up in the pocket just to be able to get a few yards. It wasn't even a sack. All these intangibles, these are the things that NFL teams look for in a franchise quarterback, and this is what Teddy Bridgewater is displaying right now.
A lot of poise shown by the number 1 pick out of Louisville. Second down and 8. And here is Banyard. And Banyard gets to the 33.
You know, when you watch all this film of Teddy Bridgewater, one of the things I came across was he chews gum while he plays. He doesn't have a mouth guard in or anything. He chews gum. He says it actually helps relax him. He's been doing it for a long time now. Apparently he's not too worried about his teeth. You know, anything happens if he gets knocked out, but
or swallowing the gum, and he said he even chews gums when he took his exams at college. He said simply it relaxes me.
Unbelievable.
Third down and 5. Maybe you'll get a commercial. Third and 5. Bridgewater goes underneath, and the tackle made on Adam Thielen by Christian Jones, preventing a Viking first down, and so the field goal team comes on. The ball is at the 26-yard line. And Blair Walsh will enter to try to add to the Viking lead.
Teddy Bridgewater, again, finding a way to get a completion. That helps out your field goal kicker, and it makes it a little bit easier of a kick.
44-yard attempt for Walsh, who's been good from 37 yards so far. Blair Walsh with the kick. It's good. And the Vikings now lead it 13-6 on Blair Walsh's second field goal of the game. Chew away, Teddy Bridgewater. Your team is leading, and it's the final game of the regular season. Still early here in this fourth quarter. Dick Stockton, Brady Quinn, Christina Pink, and it's 13-6. The Vikings lead. Bears will get the ball with Mark Mariani on the return, and Blair Walsh, who moments ago kicked his second field goal of the game. 7-point lead for Minnesota. And Mariani's going to run this one out. Past the 30. Past the 40. Into Viking territory, and a great return. Adam Thielen makes the tackle. But a great return by Mariani. And the Bears in business, trailing by 7 points. That was a 67-yard kickoff return.
Well, nice job blocking by the Chicago Bears special teams, setting this up for Mark Mariani. Really be able to find a seam in the defense and lets his speed kick in after he beats the kicker. But credit Adam Thielen, having a big game today for a touchdown-saving tackle here at the end. Should be interesting to see, though, if the Chicago Bears offense can find a spark, build momentum off this, and if Jay Cutler can get him in the end zone.
And a first down at the 35.
Cutler clearly changing the play, wants to probably try to find a way. Nope, now he's checking back to it as the Minnesota Vikings defense changed. Cat and mouse game you like to see throughout the game with these guys.
Flag down. Is this a free play for Cutler? And the pass intercepted. Penalty marker down. Audie Cole with the interception. And let's see whether the penalty, this is going to be huge right here.
Wooten was offside.
Offside. 99 in the defense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So Corey Wooten, the former Chicago Bear, offsides. And that nullifies what would be a turnover for the Vikings.
Corey Wooten just tried to get too much of a jump off the ball. This will end up being a free play for the Bears, so it will not count. None of the consequences, if they're bad, will hurt the Bears in that case.
So now it's 1st down and 5. And Matt Forte for a couple of yards. Time for a game break. Here's Joel Klatt again.
All right, crazy AFC guys. Blake Bortles in Houston, pass it to Cecil Shorts, who then throws it to Jordan Todman. It's 17-14 Jaguars. Cleveland's up 10-3 over Baltimore. Kansas City's up 19-7 over San Diego, which means the Chiefs go to the AFC playoff if they all finish that way. Whew, you got all that?
Yeah. Does anyone want this? I guess Kansas City does.
The key to that is Chase Daniels starts then for the Chiefs.
Yes. 2nd down and 3. And the pass dropped by Josh Morgan.
Well, that seems to be a habit right now of the Bears wide receivers. Alshon Jeffries had 4 drops last week for Jimmy Clausen in his first start in 4 years. And the rest of this wide receiver corps has continued to have some drops today, not helping out the quarterbacks. And that's one of those, another reason why they're 5-10 right now. It's just the Bears offense and really the entire team has just not played up to their capabilities.
What an opportunity they had after that 67-yard kickoff return. Put them in great position here, but now they look at a 3rd down and 3 to the Bears. Do they have to settle for a field goal again? And it would be a long one indeed. This is a big play. Cutler dancing around. And his pass is knocked down. Forte, the intended receiver. Adi Cole makes the defensive play, knocking it down, bringing up 4th down.
I'll be curious to see if they go for it here. It would be a long field goal for Feely in particular since he missed his last field goal.
They are. I think that decision has been made, and it makes a sense on many fronts.
What about Adi Cole? Just stepping up today, getting a hand in. Doing a nice job covering Matt Forte in the passing game.
So it's 4th and 3. And timeout called by the Vikings. They want to set their defense up on a 4th down and 3.
It's a 30-second timeout.
And right now, let's send it down to Christina Pink.
You guys have talked about Adi Cole several times today. You know, last week in Miami, Gerald Hodges called plays for this Vikings defense when Chad Greenway got hurt. They had several miscommunications and problems with their defensive alignment. So today, that responsibility was given to Adi Cole, who is certainly paying dividends as his Viking defense has certainly communicated better and played better, more cohesively today.
No question. But now it's 4th and 3. What do the Bears have to do here?
Well, the Bears got to find a way of protecting Jay Cutler in this scenario. The Vikings have been able to bring a variety of pressures to move him off his spot and force him to make inaccurate throws. So if I'm the Bears right now, I'm finding a way of giving Jay Cutler the time to be able to step in the pocket and make an accurate throw, working either Martellus Bennett or Alshon Jeffrey.
Jeffrey lining up to the top of your picture. 4th and 3. Cutler completes the pass and a 1st down inside the 15 to Martellus Bennett. He went to one of his 2 big targets, and it was the bigger one, the tight end Bennett. And a gain of 15 quiets the crowd, and the Bears get a 1st down to the 8.
Martellus Bennett's matched up on Andrew Sendejo, filling in for Robert Blanton, and just runs a simple in route. Is able to beat him with speed out of his cut. He's such a big target. He's really tough to defend if a quarterback throws an accurate ball like Cutler did there.
7th catch for Bennett. On 1st down, here's Forte. Nowhere to run. And he is stopped nearly in his tracks by Everson Griffin, bringing up 2nd and goal.
The defensive front for the Minnesota Vikings, Everson Griffin, Brian Robinson, Sharif Floyd. All these guys have really stepped up their game and allowed the linebackers for the Minnesota Vikings to be more open and make plays and do their job.
So 2nd down and 9 officially. Ball on the 12. Play action. Pass is batted up. And it looked like it was bobbled. Let's see if it would be an interception if it were caught and it hit the ground. It is no interception, an incomplete pass. It was deflected by Sharif Floyd. Brian Robinson did not make the catch.
Well, they're trying to set up an inside screen, and there you see Sharif Floyd gets a hand on it. Brian Robinson tries to jump back and corral the ball in, but it appears to just hit the ground.
So now 3rd down and 9.
Cutler, no turnovers today, but he's had some close ones.
Cutler 20 of 31. No TDs and no picks. Cutler quickly to Jeffrey, and everything stopped. Flag down.
Delay of game.
5-yard penalty, delay of the game against the Bears.
Well, you'd wonder coming into this game how Jay Cutler would handle being benched last week and then due to an injury now being thrusted back into the starting role, and that's 2 delay of games now. It just seems like maybe his focus isn't there quite as much as it would have been earlier in this season. But one of those reasons why they have not been successful and haven't been able to stay in a consistent flow and capitalize on good field position.
5-yard penalty, 3rd down and 14. From the 17-yard line. Cutler gets a rush. The pass incomplete. Intended for Bennett in the end zone. Claimed he was pushed. 2 defenders back there, including Harrison Smith and Josh Robinson. So Jay Feely will come in with 8:57, just under 9 minutes to go in the 4th.
Josh Robinson was matched up on Martellus Bennett there and really didn't appear as if the ball was that catchable, but there was a little bit of hand fighting going on, and it's going to happen whenever you're getting man-to-man coverage.
So Jay Feely, who had not attempted a field goal in his first 3 games with the Bears, this will be his 4th attempt. This is from 35 yards. And Feely's kick is good. And now the Viking lead is 13-9. Feely with his 3rd field goal of the game.
Today's game is sponsored by the new Samsung Galaxy Note 4. The next big thing is here.
The Viking defense has kept the Bears out of the end zone, and they had to settle for 3 Feely field goals in a 13-9 game with just under 9 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Last game of the regular season here. 2 teams with losing records, but one of them would want to escape the cellar in the division.
Bears offense usually more potent in the red zone, struggling to score touchdowns today.
Feely's kick taken by Matt Asiata, and out of bounds he goes. Well, today is not only the last day of the regular season, but it's also an end of an era, which means a lot to us at Fox Sports. Legendary Fox NFL producer Bob Stenner will no longer hit the road to cover the NFL after 55 years in the business. He will stay on with Fox as a consultant. I've worked with Bob Stenner. All you need to see, 21 seasons with Pat Summerall and John Madden, both at CBS and Fox. He's trained TV leaders, including our producer P.T. Navarro and director Wayne Wilson, who have learned from a legend in our profession. 1st and 10 for the Vikings. Matt Asiata. And Asiata gets to the 36. And a thank you for our crew here in the truck. And they have toiled all season long.
Talk about legendary coaching trees in the NFL. Well, Bob Stenner's that in TV. I mean, his reach extends further than even just here at Fox. So
yeah, he does. And you know, the pictures and the replays and the sounds and the presentations that many of us take for granted in our sofas at home and watching up here has to come from somewhere, and has to come from the greats. And Bob Stenner certainly belongs there. Bridgewater on 2nd and 4 gets sacked inside the 30 by David Bass. And on that sack, let's send it out once again to Joel Klatt in the game break. Busy man today, Joel.
Yeah, that's right. And a busy day in the AFC. Case Keenum to Andre Johnson gives the Texans a 21-17 lead. Kansas City still up on San Diego. Cleveland still up on Baltimore. The Texans would go to the AFC playoffs. Dick and Brady, back to you.
All right, so back and forth. It's like a seesaw thing with Houston now leading 21-17. 3rd down and 12 here for the Vikings. Leading by 4, Bridgewater. And Bridgewater has an open receiver. One-handed catch by Jennings. And Greg Jennings managed to stay in bounds after making the catch close to midfield. And a pickup of 20. Great play by Jennings.
A great play by Jennings and a good job by Teddy Bridgewater finding him. But again, another busted coverage by the Chicago Bears defense. And people have given defensive coordinator Mel Tucker flack all year long. But look, this is execution. That's not on the defensive coordinator. That's on the players down there in the field. They've got to do a better job of communicating and identifying who has who in the passing game.
That's why a team goes 5-10 going into their season finale. First down at the 49 of the Vikings. Here is Matt Asiata trying to cut back. Does a good job. Asiata with a nifty run, picking up 7 yards.
And he's really done a nice job filling in the absence of Adrian Peterson. And clearly not the same type of player. I mean, it's hard to replace a guy with Adrian Peterson's ability, but Matt Asiata has filled that role well, being able to run the football effectively, getting downhill, not fumbling very often, and doing his job.
2nd and 3 on the 44. Here's Asiata, and this time the Bears won't let him get all the way through. Ratliff is there to make the stop.
Really, Ratliff and Paella, the 2 inside tackles for the Chicago Bears defense, do a nice job of plugging up holes, not allowing there to be really any running lanes for the Vikings offense. They've been stellar all year in that regard, and even getting to the quarterback. Have about 6 sacks apiece, a very disruptive duo in the center of the Chicago Bears defense.
So it'll be 3rd and a long one. Nearly 5 minutes remaining in the 4th. And here's Matt Asiata, gets a first down and more. Asiata, big gain. Good block by Jerome Felton, the fullback, and Asiata getting down to the 26-yard line, picking up 14 big yards for the Vikings.
Well, he puts 1 foot in the ground and gets vertical. And that's his style of running. He's a physical back, and he finds ways of just getting north and south and being simple in his running style, but very effective. And again, right down the middle of that defense, John Sullivan, the center, having a nice block to open up a hole for him.
78 yards rushing for Asiata, who had 2 touchdowns on the ground against the Dolphins last week in the losing cause. It'll be a first down at the 26. Asiata again, and he bursts forward for picking up nearly 5 yards.
You get the feeling the Minnesota Vikings are just controlling the game at this point.
Chicago.
Being able to stop the Chicago Bears in the red zone and running the ball effectively right now with the Minnesota Vikings.
4-yard gain, and the Bears have called a timeout. Each team has 2 left. Timeout here in Minneapolis. Will return in just a moment. Back here in Minneapolis, the Bears call their first timeout. It'll be 2nd and 6.
This is a big series for the Bears defense. They really got to find a way of getting a stop here.
And they got to, it's the run defense primarily, you would think. Using the clock. And here is Banyard, who's coming to the game, and the Bears do a good job right there, knocking him back for no gain, maybe a loss of 1.
The Vikings playing a little more conservative right now, but look,
Timeout.
a field goal.
Chicago, they're 2nd.
It's going to put them in within a touchdown, and so far the Bears haven't been able to really execute enough to drive down the field and get a touchdown.
Bears call a timeout. We've talked about Bob Stenner and the great job that he has done. But we've had a great job done by our crew, and we want to thank our technical and production crew for what they've done this year all season. Our audio mixers, Mark Butler and Bob Charlap. Camera operators, Brent Cohen, Terry Swan, and Tom Skinner. Keith Dornellis in video. Videotape operators, Kerry Brooks and Barrett Brenner. Elisa Arden, Alex Stevepak, and Grant Yoder in our graphics department. All the replays, people like that are getting the shots for you seeing the replays, the graphics all come from this crew. Here's Bridgewater on the keeper. Bridgewater will get the first down and go out of bounds. First down for Minnesota. Other people to thank: our statistician, Emmett McGuire, and spotter Bill Garrity, technical producer Marvin Kale, and our technical director Gabe Bell, broadcast associate Matt Shapiro, and our associate director Chirag Davaskar, and our director, as we mentioned, Wayne Wilson, our producer P.T. Navarro. Names to you, but these are the people we live with each week that put on these broadcasts and do a tremendous job. We all thank them as the season comes to a close. First down and 10 on the 12, and here is Asiata inside the 10, carrying defenders down to the 6-yard line. Jennings is there, pickup of 6.
You saw Bridgewater use his legs with a heads-up play to get the first down, now allowing them to really be in the position to run the clock down more and put them in the position to at least come away with a chip shot field goal, if not a touchdown.
What do you take away from this game? And, you know, both teams obviously wanting to win. Forget the fact that it's not going to mean anything playoff-wise from both of these clubs. Your thoughts?
Well, I think with the Minnesota Vikings, you see they're really starting to build the franchise that they're looking for with Mike Zimmer. On the defensive side of the football, on offense, they found the franchise quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater. He's just done a tremendous job, especially in the month of December, leading this team, being extremely efficient, running the offense and in the passing game, then making plays with his feet. He seems to be everything they had hoped for, and with the Bears right now, just a lot of question marks. We'll have to see what happens in the ensuing weeks.
11th play of the drive. Second down and 4. Asiata, who's handled this offense down the final minutes here, is a yard shy of the first down as the clock winds down to 4 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. The Vikings lead 13-9. Their defense have kept the Bears out of the end zone, limiting them to 3 field goals.
This is where the running style of Matt Asiata really takes its effect. He's so physical, using his body to just run through defenders, usually taking more than just one defender to bring him down. Now it really pays its dividends off here in the fourth quarter, and particularly with a 4-minute offense like this, as they're pushing in to score and really running the clock, trying to run the clock out.
No timeouts left for the Bears. Third down and 1 coming up, and the big play of the game was that 44-yard pass from Bridgewater to Adam Thielen. The only touchdown in the game.
Talk about on a busted coverage between the two players. You know, neither one knew which one was supposed to take that wide receiver, and ends up running free, wide open down the sidelines. Something that the Chicago Bears are going to have to evaluate and figure out how they can get their team back on the right track.
Well, they came in knowing that this was a lost season, that there were going to be a lot of questions to be answered probably shortly after the season is over. 5-10 record, losing 4 straight games, 3 of them at home. Bears won only 3 division games in the last 2 seasons, 2 against these Vikings. Brady, 1 game at home, road win at Green Bay last year. And
they've actually been effective outside of their division, though. You know, they're 6-4 this year. Excuse me, 5 wins outside of the division so far this year. They're 6-4.
Well, no playoff implications here, but there is elsewhere. Joel Klatt, bring us up to date.
All right, guys, let's head to Baltimore. Joe Flacco finally getting heated up in this game against Cleveland. Finds Torrey Smith for a touchdown. 13-10 Ravens. The Kansas City Chiefs still leading San Diego, which means the Ravens would go with a win. The Chiefs hold on at home. All that going on in the AFC. Dick and Brady, back to you.
All right, so the Ravens could be in the driver's seat. Third down and 1 here in Minneapolis. And Asiata pushing forward close to the first down. We'll see where they spot the ball. Vikings indicate they have enough for a 1st and goal.
Still waiting on confirmation, but it looked like with his forward progress, he had gotten the first down. Probably need to take a measurement.
And we have an injured player as well.
Cornelius Washington down.
We still do not have an official indication from Jeff Triplett as to whether Asiata had enough for that first down.
Cornelius Washington mixing in at right and left defensive end for the Chicago Bears in the absence of Willie Young. He's taking part of that workload with David Bass, number 91 as well.
We're going to have a measurement here. Meanwhile, Washington still on the ground.
You know, we just did a game break, and you look at the two games in particular we're watching, and it's the AFC North teams that could end up dominating this playoff picture.
And short, shy by a matter of inches. So it's 4th down and inches for the Vikings.
It appears the offense is staying on the field. They feel confident in their ability to get the additional inches needed for the first down, if not a touchdown.
Meanwhile, this is not the way anyone would want to end the season. Cornelius Washington being helped off the field.
This is where you rely on the center or interior of your offensive line. John Sullivan, the center, Charlie Johnson, left guard, and Joe Berger. As you watch Cornelius Washington walk off the field, and a Chicago Bears defensive line that's already thin. They can't afford to have too many more injuries.
David Bass is in the lineup. For the Bears. Ratliff has just come in the game as well. Austin Wentworth for the Vikings, rookie from Fresno State, is an extra offensive lineman. There he is, number 72. So 4th down and inches for Minnesota. And there is Asiata, and he's pushed back. I don't think he made it. I think he might have lost a little. And the Bears may have held fast.
Heck of a play by middle linebacker John Bostic. As soon as that hole opened up for Asiata, he came there to fill it. And he was not letting Matt Asiata get any further closer to that first down marker.
Great play, you're right. Right there. Didn't give ground. And the Chicago Bears will take over on downs.
Trevor Scott gave him a little extra help as Asiata started to gain momentum. Scott was able to put his back into him and push Asiata back. Now pressure's on Jay Cutler, because right here, this could be a drive for the win.
They have no timeouts, however. And
they will have a 2-minute warning, though, and plenty of time.
So this is going to be, is this a curtain call maybe for Jay Cutler? We don't know what the answer is going to be during the offseason. We know there are a lot of questions for the Bears. Here is Asiata getting stopped by Bostic head on. Lost a little, too.
You can credit Jared Allen coming up, meeting the fullback in the hole, and freeing up John Bostic to be there and make the tackle.
Ball on the 3. Jay Cutler and the offense goes to work. Only stoppage will be at the 2-minute warning. Cutler will run it from the end zone, get the first down, and slide as he crosses the 25. Good play.
Mike Zimmer using his patented double-A gap mug with his linebackers up around the line of scrimmage, and he created some running lanes there as they tried to bring pressure to disrupt the offensive line.
22-yard gain. And a false start has been called against the Bears. These are these pre-snap penalties that really ruin you.
Number 17 is the offense. 5-yard penalty.
Alshon Jeffrey called for the penalty, and a 5-yard penalty marked off.
When you talk about a 2-minute drive killer, that's one of the things. Any sort of pre-snap penalty in particular are things that really are going to push you back and put you in an unfortunate scenario trying to get the ball down the field and battling the element of time.
That's discipline or lack of. 1st and 15. Cutler escaping trouble and completes the pass, and going out of bounds is Josh Morgan. And another flag down.
Jay Cutler's going to have all types of running room here if they continue to not account for him escaping the pocket. Let's see what the call is down on the field.
Illegal touching of a forward pass. Number 19 of the offense. Went out of bounds, came back inbounds, and the first to catch the forward pass. It's a 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Josh Morgan was pushed out of bounds, which then makes him unable to touch the ball. Like you saw in the last play, Jay Cutler was able to find him on the sidelines, but that's why he was so wide open. Josh Robinson then pushes him, and you see right there, this right foot steps out of bounds. Now he cannot be the first player to touch the football. That's why you see no one covering him.
And I think Cutler must have known that too, the way he threw the ball. What am I going to do here? He must have seen that he had gone out of bounds. So now it's first down and 20. So Cutler, and this pass dropped by Forte. Incomplete pass. Looks like the Bears look like they had things going today offensively. Brady Quinn, and then all of a sudden would stall.
They've been stymied by really pre-snap penalties, and it doesn't appear as if they've had too many more than Minnesota. They got 7 so far today versus 4 for Minnesota, but the timing of the penalties, every time they've seemed to get these penalties, it's right when they start to get some momentum in a drive.
I mean, they were at the 3-yard line, no timeouts left. They got 22 yards, and then things backfired for them. Second down and 20. And this pass is caught by Matt Forte, and Forte gets to the 22, and we're winding to the 2-minute warning here. And that's the last time the Bears can stop the clock other than clocking the ball. And the 2-minute warning here in Minneapolis with the Vikings leading 13-9. Two minutes remain.
They've got to find a way to get Alshon Jeffrey the ball more. He's only got 2 catches today, in part because Brandon Marshall's not there like they were the first meeting. He's on IR. So the Minnesota Vikings have been able to focus more on covering Alshon Jeffrey.
He is in a slot to the left at the bottom of your picture. Third down and 14. And another flag.
False start.
And another false start. That's how the Bears started this game, Brady Quinn.
Third down.
That was their first series when they had a delay of the game. They had to call a timeout, and they had a false start all in a row.
Well, it's almost these insurmountable situations that people are asking Jay Cutler to try to find a way to improve or find a way to fix it. And I mean, 2-minute drive, no timeouts, and you keep getting pushed back more and more by penalties. I mean, you got to have help as a quarterback. People can blame Jay Cutler all they want, but it can't all be on him.
But this is really a fitting finish to the Bears season without question. Here's the pass caught by Forte, who is going to set a record with that reception. 8th catch of the game and the 102nd of the season. Matt Forte has set an NFL record for catches by a running back in a season, breaking Larry Center's record of 101. And a timeout called by the Vikings before the snap.
Minnesota.
And the Vikings are out of timeouts as well as the Bears. So for Matt Forte, a dismal year as far as the team goes, but a glorious year individually for him.
He really has, and they rely on him in so many different ways in this offense. He's been able to remain healthy, which is a key part in him being able to have so much success and put together season after season. He's a Pro Bowler, was not this year. Maybe another guy people would consider a snub, but a very effective running back. And again, he attributes to his off-season workout regimen, how hard he works and staying in shape. Martellus Bennett is tight end, trained with him this offseason to get back in shape for training camp.
Since coming into the league 7 years ago, has the most yards from scrimmage of anyone. 4th down and 9 for Jay Cutler and the Bears with 1:43 remaining. Cutler gets hit from behind, completes the pass to Bennett, and he'll be shy of the first down by 2 yards. And the Vikings will take over on downs. Andrew Sendejo starting his 3rd straight game at strong safety. And Everson Griffin put the pressure on Jay Cutler from behind as the Vikings offense takes on the field.
Well, this is Jay Cutler's season in a nutshell. Only a 3-man rush. Everson Griffin is able to get to Jay Cutler. He can't wait any longer to throw the football. So, of course, he's going to end up being short. Just doesn't have enough time, not enough protection again, with only a 3-man rush and 5 guys blocking for you, you've got to be able to protect your quarterback better than that.
So all Mike Zimmer's team needs to do is to take a knee and run this clock out. The Vikings 13-9 lead and heading for a 7-9 finish.
7-9 sounds a lot better than 6-10. That's something we talked with Mike Zimmer earlier in the week. He really wanted to end this season on a high note. And the players, in particular, Teddy Bridgewater talked about it, taking the momentum they've been able to carry this season and take it into the offseason as they continue to build this team.
Meanwhile, the Bears will finish at 5-11. Last time they had a record like this, 2004, 5-11. 5 straight losses to end the year. For the Vikings, they avoided a 10th loss. They had 3 out of the last 4 years with double-digit defeats. That will end. And 9 of their last 10 games decided by 8 points or fewer, so they're really right on the brink, don't you think, Brady?
They are. I mean, I think if you're a Vikings fan, you've got to be excited about the potential of next season and what this team can do. And then in 2 years, you got a new stadium. You're back indoors. You don't have to worry about being outside in December in these cold games here in Minnesota.
Well, it was a pleasure working with you. You've got a great future, and you're a friend, and you've got a lot of ability, and you work very hard.
I've learned a ton this season. It's truly been a pleasure, and Dick, thank you so much for all your help.
So for Brady Quinn and Christina Pink, Dick Stockton saying so long. Right now, let's go to the State Farm Game Break Show with Kurt Menefee and the boys in Los Angeles.